how do I make money, but not have a nanny or somebody else raising our girls instead of just a side gig. It ended up becoming making a lot of money. I'm a hard worker. And every time I was at a meeting or a show, I would book more shows. It was probably 6 months that got me really hooked. There are some people that would say, gosh, I've really put years into it. I'm still not quite at that leadership level that I'm after. But for me, it was a pretty quick run to the realization that I'm good at this. I had no fear. I wasn't afraid to tell people what I was doing. I think really helped me get started was a little bit of naivety. I didn't know that there was a negative thought about that industry. I had no idea. Everyone that I met was like, I want to do this too. This is fun. And then we started winning trips and cars. And I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't even know this world existed. I had decided what I wanted and I was going for it. And so I put that introvert aside for the parties and went for it.
Hey network marketers, if you want to know what sets the top leaders apart in this business, you've come to the right spot. We are a sales and marketing agency working with the best in the business. And in our podcast, we are diving deep into their secrets. From mindset to recruitment to onboarding like pros, we're here to show you how they do it. Plus, we've got actionable steps you can use to rise to the top, no matter where you are in your journey. Get ready to level up and dominate. Welcome to the MLM Duplication Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to MLM Duplication Podcast. Today with us, we have wonderful Lisa Cox. Lisa is a keynote speaker, entrepreneur, best-selling author of I Decide, and a co-host of the I Decide Darlings podcast. Lisa is known for her impact on the direct sales and social retail beauty industry. With over 7,000 women on her team, she built a multi-million-dollar business by combining her passion for sales, social media, and strategic networking. Originally from California, Lisa now calls Springfield, Missouri her home, where she enjoys the Midwest lifestyle with her husband of over 30 years.
35.
Also, 35. And also, wonderful news, just recently, Lisa became a grandma to a wonderful baby boy, Franklin. Lisa, we're so happy to have you with us on our podcast. I wanted to say I Decide Darlings podcast, but it's MLM Duplication Podcast.
We are
Welcome.
happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. You guys are two of my favorite guys.
You are also one of our favorite people in the world. Human in the world.
Favorite human.
Tell us how, I mean, we know your story, but it's interesting. What did you do before joining an MLM, like in network marketing in general? What did you do before?
I sold real estate for a while. When I was very young, the first thing I really did was I worked at a health club, and I just managed a health club, and I did that. And then I got into real estate here in Springfield, Missouri, and I really liked real estate. I love sales. I definitely was destined to be in sales. But we had two small little daughters at the time, and it was hard to kind of make real estate work, be professional at it, and also always have my little daughters with me. And so before I got into MLM, I was struggling with that balance of how do I make money, but not have somebody else, a nanny or somebody else raising our girls. So that's what I did before. And then I was very fortunate to find this incredible world of MLM.
You have big education, you finish university and everything, and still you decided to pursue this type of career, except and you could have gone to, I don't know, some corporate world. Can you tell us like your thought process behind it, and why did you choose this path?
Well, I feel like it kind of chose me. I definitely thought I would be in the corporate world. I definitely went to school with that in mind. I thought I would be a big business woman like my mother. She was always in that world as a vice president of very large companies and human resource director. But I think it just sort of found me, because what happened was I was at home. I decided to leave real estate, and I was at home with the girls for a little while. And I just really felt like I needed more, but I didn't know what I needed. And then I went and I attended a direct sales home party. And when I did that, I realized, gosh, I could do some of this on the side. I think it was like my first time being exposed to kind of the side gig world. And I thought, well, I could still be with the girls and make some money. And that was important for our family at the time. I wanted to bring in an income. And so when I got into it and I realized, I didn't even think about, that I didn't need an education or anything to do what I was doing in MLM, but I can definitely tell you that my education served me well when I did get into it, because I could use my people skills and my communication skills and so many of the different things that I learned in college to be a disciplined MLM person, direct sales person, that, I took it very seriously. When I realized there was a lot of money in it, I even got more serious about it. And I looked at it like it was a full-time job. And instead of just a side gig that I thought I would start, it ended up making a lot of money in the industry and realizing there's a lot of opportunity here to help other people make money as well. And so that's where I just fell in love with this opportunity and this industry, was at that moment when I realized I'm benefiting from it. Our family's benefiting from it. It's fun. It's hard work, just like any other job that you have, but yet you can also help so many other people make money. And that was sort of my turning point, where I realized, it was for me. It was the thing that I think I could take a long, long distance. And so that's what I did.
What was the timeline between you getting to that home party where you were first introduced to MLM to you realizing that, hey, I can do some good by doing this?
Well, when I went to that first party, we were building a new house. And so when I went home and told my husband that I wanted to do this and that I had to buy all this, it was jewelry, and I had to buy all this jewelry to get started, he said no. It was like the only time in our whole marriage he said no to me. And I was like, what? And he's like, no. He said, we're going to wait. Let's wait till we finish the house. We were, as most people are, we were over budget on our house project. And he said, let's get the house built and then you can dive in. So it was like early summer when I was introduced to it. And then late summer, once the house was built and we moved in, I didn't forget. I don't forget things like that. And so that's when I started. And then honestly, I started with such a fury. Like I was like, I'm going to go for this. And I was like a girl with my hair on fire and my heart in the right place. And I'm a hard worker. And I started booking every time I was at a meeting or a show. I would book more shows. And so I took off very fast. And I became one of the original founders of the jewelry company, one of the original leaders of that company. And so when it took off that fast, I learned very quickly that this could be something that could be really big. And so it didn't take me very long to realize that this was for me, because I took off fast. I was making great money, but I was also building a team with these incredible people. And we just grew so quickly that it got exciting. And I realized I'm going to take this all the way. And that was my plan. And that was my goal.
And how fast are we talking about here?
For me, it was probably 6 months that got me really hooked on the industry. 6 months, which is very fast. I don't think that everybody has such great success that fast. And I only say that because I have people on my team that they may have been here for years and years and they're still building. I mean, we're all still building to where we want to go. There's no limit on how high you can go in this industry. But there are some people that would say, gosh, I've really put, years into it. I'm still not, quite at that leadership level that I'm after. But for me, it was a pretty quick run to the realization that I'm good at this. And I say that only because I loved it and I was just going for it and I was working hard, and that made me good at it. It wasn't anything specific to me as an individual. It was just that I put everything all in. And when you put it all in, you're going to have much quicker success in this industry than if you just hope and wish and do a little here and a little there. So for me, the speed of getting to that leadership level and the higher leadership levels very early on was because I was working fast. And definitely speed wins. It there's no question, if you want to get to higher levels, then go all in and go fast.
Mm.
And you'll get there much faster and have more success.
Sorry, what does it mean to go fast? And can you tell us maybe what do you think when you look at back now? How different were you from the rest? What was your advantage there?
Well, I had a really decent network of people starting out. It wasn't social media. We didn't have it then. We didn't do Facebook and all those things back then. It was definitely word of mouth, and I had no fear. I wasn't afraid to tell people what I was doing. I mean, I instantly went out and got a license plate, for my car that said silver for you. And I was like the silver girl in town, and everyone around me knew what I did. And so when I say go fast, I mean go all in, and I booked a ton of parties. And at every single party, I would book more parties. And I was out there selling jewelry, sometimes 6 different times a week in people's homes selling jewelry. So and in today's world where we're not quite doing the home party plan anymore, most of us, when I say go fast, I mean you want to cover everything around you. You want to talk to everyone around you. If someone's within 3 feet of you, they should know what you do. And you don't have to be gross and salesy about it, but just share with excitement. And that's what I was doing. And especially when I look back, one of the most important things that I think really helped me get started was a little bit of naivety. I didn't know that there was a negative thought about that industry. I had no idea. I mean, some people back then would even say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't do home parties." And I'd go, "Why?" I just sit, and so having that, not having the knowledge, I suppose is a better way to put it, not having the knowledge that there was anything negative around it. I was just like, this is the best in the world. You get to go out with your girlfriends, you can have a glass of wine, you can buy jewelry, you have fun. And then, the person makes money and the hostess gets free jewelry as a gift. And, I'm like, I couldn't find a way to shoot holes in it. And so because of that attitude, everyone that I met was like, I want to do this too. This is fun. And then we started winning trips and cars. And I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't even know this world existed. And so for me, I felt like the direct sales or MLM world sort of found me, and it probably found me because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about anything about it. But then I worked hard and I went at it, with a very serious attitude that, let's make this the best we can make it. And that's what I did. And that's what I still do today.
I think it was the energy that was selling it for you.
I'm not thinking, Lisa, you mentioned a couple of times to us that you were shy when you were younger.
Yes.
Was that shyness part of your personality at that time? Or
No, it was when I was younger than that.
no?
I still have an introvert side even today, but at that point in my life, I felt very energetic and happy and confident, and I felt really confident in what I was doing, and so to me to go into someone's house that I didn't even know, that just had booked a party at a previous party, it didn't phase me at all. And I didn't feel shy. We tried to make the hostess that was having the party the main focus. And,
Mhm.
my job was just to be there to talk about the different jewelry and tell them the prices and write up the orders. And so I didn't have to do a big speech in front of everybody or anything gross like that. I just would basically say, this is all sterling silver. Check it out. See if you like it. I've got different sizes. I can help you try it on. And then I can write up your order. And so it was very simple. I mean, it was very simple and fun. And the simplicity of it made it really fun. And people saw that. And so, no, I wasn't shy then. No, I was really shy years and years ago. But at that point in my life, I had decided what I wanted and I was going for it. And so I put that introvert aside for the parties and went for it.
When did you realize and you had that feeling, oh man, I made it? Like that of course, after 6 months, you had that big success. But when was like the first feeling of, oh man, I really made it?
Um, I, you know, I still don't know if I've made it to where to where I would ever say I've made it, because I don't think there's ever that final destination in my head. But I think one of the best moments where I felt like, wow, this is impactful is when I had people that would come up to me and say, something you said really helped me. Or like if I was speaking on stage and then somebody would grab me and say, you really touched my heart. And I feel like you really understand my journey here as a salesperson, or something like that. Like it was the voices that would tell me that I affected them. That's when I felt like I was really doing some good. That was it.
But was it something particular back then during those, let's say, house parties where you had ladies coming up to that gathering? Like some particular strategy how to get them, just, or was it the jewelry and talk about the jewelry that was really what got them excited about, just coming there?
Well, strategy wise, I would go into every party knowing that my goal is to set more parties. Is,
Hmm.
the only way to grow your business is to have, as many parties on the books as you can. And the more parties you have, the more people you meet. And so whenever I would check somebody out, I would say, just for an example, our hostess tonight has earned, they get like 30% back in free product. And I said,
Hmm.
she's earned this amount of jewelry. So would you like to have one of these parties at your house next? And then you could earn the free jewelry. And they would say, sure. Like it
Yeah.
really was that easy in at that point in time. And so my strategy was, for the business side of it, was to make sure I talked to everybody individually at the party. And so while they would be shopping around, I would make sure that I said hello and how are you doing? And is there anything I can help you with? I just made conversations, and I
Mm.
would make sure that I would have touch points with every person to build that relationship with them. And then when they were checking out, I would definitely ask for not only, get the sale, and I did upsell people. If they would show me a necklace they loved, I'd say, oh, we have earrings too, if you want those.
Mm.
And if it was beyond their budget, then we would definitely book a party for them so they could earn them for free, things like that. And so I went into it with fun, but also strategy of how to make the most sales at the party, and also get bookings for the next future parties. And then I made sure everybody knew that there was an opportunity for them to also be a rep and do the same thing that I'm doing. And I used to say this, I used to say, I didn't realize when I went to my first party that, that I could do this too. In fact, I asked for a job from the company. When I decided that I wanted to do this, I literally said to the person that was the rep at the show, I said, "Can I work for this company?" And she laughed at me and said, "Well, of course you can. I can sign you up and you just buy the jewelry you want to take to the houses." But I didn't get that. I mean, I was very young and I just didn't know. And I had not been exposed to home parties, before that. So anyway, so that for me was my strategy, and it worked really well.
Can you just explain home parties to someone who is maybe from a younger generation, that now that you said it yourself, almost no one is doing that anymore? Can you explain how was it working back then? Was it basically that when you ask them, do you want to organize home party, like that, does that include that they have to invite their girls or people they know to come, or you were doing like inviting also your people, or how was that working?
It was all their people. So yes. So what we would do is, if a hostess said that she would be happy to open up her home and have a party, then I would have her give me her guest list. And she could invite as many as she wanted. And then and this was one of the things that I offered, which everyone loved. And we used to do old fashioned snail mail back then, but I would get their guest list and then I would send an invitation to the party. And we had a stock form invitation. I would fill out the date and time. I did all this for my hostess. I spent hours on the nights in between the parties addressing envelopes and do all this. And then for someone that hasn't been to a home party, how it would work is the hostess would open up her home. She'd probably put out some easy appetizer or hors d'oeuvres and serve drinks. And then her friends just come over. And when they get there, I would have my jewelry all laid out, or other people did this before, like with Tupperware or other types of products. And they would just have their wares out on a table for display. And then people would just come and shop and have fun with their friends and have a fun little evening. And those were called home parties. And we've really moved away from those. Part of the reason, sadly, is because of 2020 with COVID. People just couldn't get in person anymore. But also, I think it just slowed down because for a while there were so many home party companies that people just got tired of opening up their home and having these parties at their house and asking their friends to come over and buy stuff. So it just definitely slowed down. But it was a huge trend back. It was like about, I think 2000, like 1999 and 2000 is when those were so big.
And that's how you were recruiting them. For example, they buy the jewelry, and then did you have like a list of people who bought something, and then you were calling them and recruiting them, or how was that working?
Well, every single person that would check out that night, I would get to have a private conversation with, because we would actually check them out, like take down their credit card and have to call it in the next day, like it was the olden times. And and so during those conversations, I would make sure that everybody understood. And this is a really important keynote, because you have to talk to everybody and you have to offer your opportunity, whatever that opportunity is, because if they don't know that there's an opportunity, they're not going to join your team. And so I would just make sure that everybody was fully aware that there is an opportunity here. If they are interested in learning more, I'd love to share with them. And a lot of people would say, oh, no, not interested. And I was like, that's fine. Just want to let you know, if you know anybody else, that, it's really a fun way to make extra money. And I would just make sure every single person knew about it. And then when the jewelry would get to them, if we ever had future conversations, I had all the lists of anyone that ever ordered with me, so I could stay in communication with them. I could send them an email later on, and we didn't even actually do very much of that, to be truthful, at the time. But yes, we did have their information to where we could follow up.
How did you then transition to Facebook and other? Because as we know, you have these large groups on Facebook, and you have, I don't know how many, and how you're managing everything. When did you decide to start with that and focus on social media? When did it happen for you?
Well, it started happening when I was still with that company. I started a Facebook presence towards the end of my 13 years with that first company. And I really just did it very socially at the time. But then we started realizing, of course, that people were watching your Facebook. And so when I really started focusing on building my social media for business was probably my second company, when I transitioned over to my second company that was a skincare company. And what happened was and some of this stuff makes me sound like I'm so ignorant, because I knew that I had people watching my Facebook, but we didn't really use it to our benefit at that time. And it was 2012 was when I started to transition, and I made a post. And I just said that I was going to still be everyone's sterling silver jewelry girl, but that I was going to add a second company and share a one night cream, because the company I was joining had one night cream. And I thought that we could do both. I thought that I could do the jewelry, and I thought that I could do the night cream, because they originally had said in my contract at the first company that you could, as long as it wasn't jewelry. So I made a post like that. And what happened was it just went viral. And I had hundreds of people that I didn't even know were watching me say, I'm interested in this new company with you. And it just blew up. So that's when I think I really saw the beauty in social media and how we could use that to definitely explode our businesses and our followings.
And what happened after that? Like, did your other business like blow away right away because of that post, or
Yeah.
how was it?
Yes, it went crazy. My first company wasn't very pleased with me. The second company was, and I brought in hundreds of people within very short time. Went to the top of that company in about 45 days. And it was because I had built a lot of relationships with people. And, that's the thing. Social media is incredible and it's important, but I didn't even realize that I had that type of presence. But what I had done is built all these relationships. Just like I was saying at the jewelry parties, I talked to everybody individually. I asked about them. I asked about not for the sale, but just to find out, meet people, and so I was really lucky, and I just made a lot of relationships. And then when I made that move, people were very interested in coming with me. And so what happened at that point is, yes, I grew very quickly in my second company. My first company asked me to stop selling their product, which was very sad for me. And they told me I had broken a Facebook rule by mentioning it on Facebook. So I'm not going to get into those details. It was a bummer that I couldn't do both. But I went right into the second company, and that's when I really went professional in the industry, because that's when I realized I should not be messing around anymore. I shouldn't just be, oh, girl with your hair on fire. It was time to learn and become a pro in the industry. And so that's when I really started digging into personal development, reading books on it, getting a coach, getting trainers, and taking it more seriously, because I realized there was a lot of money to be made in this industry for our family and for the people that I worked with, that I could help them do it as well. And so I would say that that's when I really became a network marketer, having great success.
What were the main things that at that point, with the coach, with the self-development, you realized you were missing before? Some tactics or maybe mindset shift. Like what was the main things that you realized?
That's such a good question. Well, I was definitely missing a lot of things, but I had a lot of things too that came very naturally for me. I do think that the mindset aspect of it was very powerful, because sales isn't easy, and it's not, every day is not rosy, and it doesn't come easy to people. And so you have to lift a lot of people up and keep them going and keep them, kind of, you've got to nurture a lot of people in the process and encourage them and inspire them. And the best way you can honestly do that is by your own success, by being consistent and showing that. And to do that yourself, you've got to keep yourself lifted up. So definitely the personal development helped me. The coaching sessions and things and classes I started taking, many of them were just offered through my company. It didn't cost any extra money at the time. I later in my career hired some big time coaches, but when at the beginning, I just took all the classes I possibly could that were offered, that were free. And there's so much free training that you can get to as well. And I just took advantage of all that I could. I showed up at every single meeting and every single event, and my team saw that as well. And so the success that I was having, I was able to share with other people and show them how I was doing it by doing it. And sometimes that's the best way to do it. A lot of people get into this industry and they don't care what their image is to their team. They don't show up, they don't do the right things, and so their team kind of goes away. But for us, we just bonded and grew together, and that really served us well to grow a massive team at that company.
What are your practices and how do you lead your team now? Because you have a pretty large team. What are the best practices that one leader can do in network marketing? Can you share some of yours, like that you do on a daily basis, then weekly, maybe monthly or yearly? How important is to do something with your team, and how do you manage them or lead them, by the way?
Yes. Well, it's so important that you have the most incredible people that you surround yourself with that are also good leaders, because you can't do it all yourself, number one. And so I feel like I have the best, most incredible leadership team of strong leaders that show up every day with me. And so together we can lead the team. So that I have to acknowledge first. It's definitely not a singular thing when you build a team this large. We do meetings for our teams consistently. Like I do a Monday night meeting every single Monday night for all the years I've done it. And the team shows up, or they listen to the replay, and give them fresh information and knowledge every single Monday night. We have different leaders that speak on that, or we bring in top people from our company or coaches to talk. And so we make sure that we stay connected with our team as much as possible. And then also, we always definitely try and feed them every bit of information that we can get to them to keep them connected. Your team in this industry is a volunteer army. And so, it's their choice whether they show up or not, but all you can do is be there when they do. And so it's consistency and discipline on our part, on the leadership part, that, that we've done really well. That, and I, over the years, I show up whether there's one person on or whether there's 800 people on, I'm on. And they know that. And so they know that they can depend. Another thing is, and I have a huge belief in this, never get too big for your britches. We're all growing and learning and always trying to get to our next personal level. But there's a lot of new people that think where you are, it would be incredible to be where you are, but don't ever think you're too good, whatever level you're at. And so I answer my phone for everybody. I answer every single message that I get. Everybody knows that my phone line is open. It doesn't matter if they have never sold something in their whole life on my team. If they're on the team and they have a question, they need something, then I'm there for them. And I think the important thing is that they know that. And so they're completely supported and loved. And then I also do my best. It's not a perfect science. We're all very busy people, but to build relationships when I can. So when I'm at conferences and in the room with our teams in person, or even on Zooms, I try and ask personal questions, learn about their families, learn who these people are who are on your team, and become their friend, not just their leader. Be someone that they can respect you back because you care about what's going on in their life. And I've worked pretty hard to do that. Now, can you stay up with everybody's life? No, it's not totally possible, but you certainly can when you're put around people, ask about them and how they're doing. And relationship is huge for me. I think you'll probably have a lot of people you interview on here, guys, that don't feel that way. And that's okay too. It could just be a business for some people, but it's never been that way for me. It's always been more of a family.
And I completely agree with you, especially this relationship part that you mentioned a couple of times. For you, I think it comes naturally, right? Because you are just wired that way. You like to help people, you like to talk with people. But is there a way how do you have some process of how you do it, or you just do it like it comes natural to you, or you learned how to do it?
I think I've learned how to, a little bit of it I've learned how to do. And, every mentor and coach I've had said, become an expert question asking type person. So what I'm trying to say is learn how to ask questions all the time. Be inquisitive. And if you're asking questions, then you're opening up other people to share with you and to kind of build those relationships. And so, I think you can teach it. I think you can teach yourself if it's not natural to be that way. You don't see a lot of really high up leaders in the industry that don't care about relationships. You really don't. A lot of them that I think make it to the very top without building relationships or being in conversations and really caring about the people. A lot of them kind of weed themselves out over time because people see right through it. And so, for me, it's just making sure that you're asking a ton of questions. Also trying to be present as much as you can in their business, especially at least with the people that you personally sponsor. When you get layers and layers and layers deep in your organizations, it's harder to kind of tap root down. But sometimes it's necessary just to find the wonderful. It takes time to get down in there and have those conversations, but it's so important to do it.
I wanted to ask you, what is your take on sponsoring people? Some people are for, some people are against. What's your take on it?
Well, I think to have a really thriving, growing organization in the direct sales world, you have to be sponsoring people. I mean, it's part of it. We have an incredible compensation plan where people can make a lot of money just by having customers, which I think is wonderful and beautiful. But if you're going for a super large, thriving organization, then you need to be constantly bringing in new energy, new people, fresh energy that can come in and start that new wildfire on your team. And really it keeps the old team that's been there a while going and thriving when they see that there's new people coming in, and their excitement gets everybody excited. I mean, there's nothing better than, if everyone says whatever their problem is, the answer is sign someone new up today. Get someone new started, and that new person is going to lift you up, and you're going to get rolling.
Yeah, but my question was more on the financial part. Like when I say sponsor, meaning that you will pay for the first product, you will pay for that membership. Are you for it or against it? Because some people say when you pay for someone, they don't appreciate it, they don't own it. What is your take on it? What is your experience?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that a little bit in the affiliate world, it feels a little bit different to get them started with some product because they're used to everybody giving them product. If they're an influencer or someone that has a massive influence, I feel like sometimes helping them with product to get them started is sort of a little bit of a different thing. But in just the normal direct sales, I'm going to sponsor a new person. No, I don't pay for their way. They need to put an investment in, and they need to start their business themselves with their own finances. And then you can show them the best way to do that, the best package to get, the best way to get started. You can show them how you got started. But I don't believe in paying their way. No.
What are some of the best ways for new people to start when they're starting in network marketing? Do you have some onboarding process for them?
Well, the very best way, first of all, if they need to be a product of their product. And so they need to get some product ordered. You can buy into almost any MLM company with just a $50 fee or whatever to get your licensing with them. But I've never believed in that. I always bought the largest kit that you could buy. I always encourage people that start with us to get the largest kit that they can budget wise fit into their life. And that's because then they're going to have the products to try and to actually experience it so that they can turn around and talk about it. The next step is, of course, getting them very comfortable on how to share their codes and get them well versed in how they work the computer and the things that they need to do the sales. And then they have to have a list and you don't want to. You don't want to like freak them out with an old fashioned list. Some people say, oh, don't come to me until you have 500 people. Well, if you have 500 people on your list, that's great. That'll be more helpful. But if you can't do that, the most average person probably won't think of 500 names right away. But if you can get with your new person that you're getting started and help them look at who they do know and who they know that would love to try what they have to offer, and just sort of talk them through some scripts and how they can get started. The best way to get somebody started in a company is to turn around and help them make $1. People will stay in the company with you for a month or 2 months or 3 months if they've made $1. If they don't make $1, they're not going to stay. So you just have to help them get that first sale underneath their wings, and then show them how to use their list and start talking to people. I think the easiest thing about our business is it's basically a bunch of conversations that we get into. It's a business of conversations, building relationships, and then solving a need that your client has. So if you could teach your new person in your onboarding process how they do that, then they're going to turn around and have success, because then they can understand it's not that they don't have to have the perfect script. In fact, I hate scripts half the time because people that use scripts are typically awkward with them because it's not who they are. It's not their personality. So instead, if you could teach them to use their personality to go out and share with their excitement, their own personality, why they chose this company, why they love these products, and talk to their friends that need a solution for something that you can give them a solution for with your product, then they'll have a great start.
I like that approach, becoming product of the product, because at the end, this is like word of mouth monetized, the whole network marketing. It's about giving an advice to a person about what product to buy. And then you're receiving this affiliate code. So understanding that products are good, that they're going to be good for that person as well, and that will help them with the problem, I think it's a good thing to have. What do you think, Lisa, about those parties or those offline events? Are they coming back to the network marketing or no?
I would say no. We definitely have encouraged more face-to-face time, and to not forget that you can build that way. We have a lot of people that don't even like using their social media, or they've never used social media, believe it or not. And so I always remind them, I built my whole empire face to face. I started face to face. I didn't even have the social media. And I said, and it was fun that way. And so if you can get out there and talk to people, you could most definitely build something with face to face. But having social media opens up the world, and it opens up other countries, and it opens up so much more that I also always recommend to not be afraid of it. And as far as the home parties coming back, I don't think so. I don't really foresee that happening. I think a little bit here and there, people might enjoy a random get together type of thing, but not in the way that we had it before, where it was like you would get 2 and 3 invitations a week in the mail for some sort of home party. I don't foresee that coming back. No.
And do you miss it personally?
Um, I don't. I don't. It was hard work. And I was gone almost every night of the week. And my wonderful husband would put our girls to bed and he helped me with it. But I'd be gone for a couple hours almost every night of the week because I was working so hard selling. And so I don't, at this point in my life or my career, I really don't miss that. I will say I do still love to gather in person with people and girlfriends. But I also think in today's society and the way that we run so busy, it's a little bit of a different world that we're in right now, to where it's harder to gather people together. Back then, it was almost like that was the entertainment. There wasn't a whole lot of other stuff going on, and so I find that it could be a little bit harder to get a good group of people together consistently. So,
Why do you think people are more busy nowadays?
oh. So many reasons. I mean, I think maybe we're not busy, or maybe we're just spending too much time scrolling on our phones. But I just think people take a lot more on their plates. They can handle more. We have so many different ways that can take things that can take care of stuff like that we didn't have before, to where you don't have to. I mean, I'm thinking about, like, for me, we hire out a lot of people to help us take care of the little things, and so that we don't have to worry about the little things, and we can just go have the fun or whatever we want to do. And I don't know, I just think people book their schedules really busy, and I don't know if I can answer that right, Tika. I'm not sure.
No, but yeah, you said it. I think we just scroll way too
Yeah.
much, and we appear to be busy when actually, I think those are just priorities. And before it was not like that, and people like, they were bored. People nowadays are not bored. We don't know what is boredom. We just like find fun in our basically pocket. We always have it with us. So I think that's a bad thing, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
because it's good to be bored. What I wanted to ask you, you mentioned Steve, like your husband, a couple of times, and how he was like helpful, taking care of the girls. Can you speak about the importance of having the support from your family in network marketing? Like, do you know
Yes.
some examples when they didn't have a support and they still succeeded? Or
I do, but for the most part, people that have been really successful have a lot of support, and they have people that back them up with it. Sometimes we've seen a couple different scenarios about this. A lot of women that I know have gotten into direct sales, and their husbands just don't believe in it. They have the same kind of negative thing about it. And I'm always like, let's shock them. Let's make some money, and let's shock them and show them that you can really bring some money. And then sometimes we say, one of the best responses that we've done before for people that don't have the support is just to go to your partner or your spouse and your family. Sometimes it's your family that knocks it down, and just say, you may not agree with me, but I'm really excited about this opportunity. And if you could just love me and, treat me normal and let me do my thing. And if you prove me wrong, that's fine. But if I prove you wrong, then you can support me then, and they're like, okay, they're usually fine with it when you kind of put it out there. I will tell you, I could not have had the success I've had without Steve, because he has been through it all with me. He's been through every company. He is a huge part of why I've had success. He's made me able to get out in the evenings when we had small kids. and did things that a lot of spouses might not be willing to do. So I do feel very fortunate about that. And also just because sometimes there's drama, just like any other business, or there's downtimes where you're upset. And if you don't have that support, it just makes it harder to get through it on your own. So the support is very important.
The stability, basically, he brings you the stability.
Yeah.
Which everyone is. Now, on top of your head, what is your proudest moment in your network marketing career? Like, it is very long one. Can you remember, like, what was the?
Well, I have a lot of very, very proud moments. I'll say one of the ones as far as when I hit the top of my second company's compensation plan, I jumped 3 ranks in 1 month to do it, and it was very, very hard, very high rank. And I mean, I have never worked so hard for something in my life. My family was all behind me. It was the same year that my daughter was getting married, so we had 12 showers for her that year. So it was the craziest year of my life. But that was one of my proudest moments because I worked so hard and I knew that's what I wanted and I visualized it. And I actually thought I had gotten to the next rank, but instead I jumped 2 ranks in 1 day and went to the very top of the comp plan. And so that was huge because I believe that many of our accomplishments in this industry have to start with that belief and that projecting yourself somewhere that you haven't been yet and manifesting it and believing in it. And that whole year, I would speak to myself like I was already at that top rank. I did all the things that now I teach people to do. But back then I was just trying it myself. When I would work out and I would like do the ropes, I would scream out the rank I was trying to hit. And I'd say, I am and I would scream it at a 5-star national marketing director. And it was such a powerful thing to see in action and to feel in action, this belief and this manifesting, and then the work I put into it and everything, and then to hit it, and then to jump 2 ranks and to hit the very top. So that was probably one of my most proud moments in the industry.
What are some of the things that you do on a daily basis for your mindset, basically, to, as you said, like you have a lot of ups and downs in the industry, like everyone has it, how to stay with good spirit, basically?
Well, I have a very strict schedule that I maintain for my sanity. And I'm also at a different stage in life than a lot of people. We're empty nesters, so our children are grown and gone and from the house. And so I have a little bit more freedom than some of the young moms that are building this with small kids at home. And I understand that when they hear this, they're going to be like, well, I can't do that. But I couldn't do it back then either. I had to get up earlier to have the time. But I definitely have my morning routine where I have quiet time and I have prayer time, and I read positive, inspirational things every single morning. And then I go to hot yoga in the morning at 9:00. I realize it's in the middle of the workday for half the world, but I don't care. That's where I go, and that's where I do a lot of my manifesting and thinking about my day. My team knows where I am. Everyone knows Lisa's in yoga. She'll answer the questions when she gets out, type of thing. And so I work out, I take care of my body so I can show up at my best level. I eat healthy food. I'm in health and wellness. And it's very important to me to show up and to be the part that I'm talking to people about all day long. And so, and because of those things, that the fitness and the way I eat and everything, I feel like it enhances when I am teaching or coaching, it enhances the fact that since I feel good, I can have the energy level that I need to project what I need to on them, or to have the right vibe to keep people lifted up during hard times and things like that. So I've just really been very strong about maintaining my healthy schedule. I'm always listening to things, and not always positive things. Sometimes I like to listen to crime. I have to be honest. I have some fun things I listen to that are just entertaining, but I'm always got someone in my ear that is teaching me something, and at least every single day. So I'm learning all the time, and I still show up for all the meetings in the company. I still do my team meeting, and I haven't let, my foot off the gas in a lot of years. I still feel like I have my life, and I have this wonderful life that I get to live on my own schedule and terms. but I'm very present in our company and in our teams. And I feel like that has just led to success because, you need to be there and you need to be there as your best self and give what you can to everybody else. And then you're going to rise, rise with all the ships.
What are the things that nowadays you enjoy the most in the company, in working with people? Like what gives you joy?
My leadership team and my actual team, that they give me a ton of joy. We're in constant contact. I feel like I have my family chats, with our children and my husband, but then I have my leadership chats where we're in there talking and laughing and working through problems together. But really, that brings me a ton of joy. The people that I am able to be partnered with are just phenomenal, and I love that. I love our products. I'm happy to be a product of our products. And so that gives me joy, and just anything new. I get off on little new things that I'm learning. I love trying to learn AI. I'm trying to be better at technology, and stuff like that gives me joy and keeps me interesting at the end of the day, we could say. So my husband still wants to talk to me because I'm always learning something and have something up my sleeve. You guys give me joy. You guys, we work together and have helped me promote so many things, and we have so much fun. So all those things, lots of things.
That's so nice to hear. What I wanted to ask you is a lot of people now in network marketing think that they have to be on social media. Do they really have to be, or what do you think? Can it be done in the old way to build a business, or they have to be out there in social media?
I think it's possible to be done the old way. I think it would take a very rare personality to do it the old way and do it really big. And I hate to say that, but I really do think that that's the case, in my opinion. I think that the world, whether people like it or not, is a social media world. And so I think to be relevant, you would be wise to at least try to get into the social media. If you want to build without it, I know you can. It just takes a lot of one-on-one time with a lot more people. Like, for example, we just had a huge launch. We had a huge product launch, and I had, from social media, thousands of people that just wanted to hear about the product. And if I didn't have a way to put them all in one area and give them all the information at one time, it just would be hardly possible to do what we did for that launch. And it went huge. It went so well. And so I really recommend that, yes, that you give it a shot if you aren't comfortable with it. But don't stop the in-person conversations. Always have those going. I still, anywhere I am, if someone's talking about something that I can help them solve a problem with one of my products, I'll get their information and message them later, what I know I can help them with. And so it's kind of needs to be a combination of both, but I would add some social media in there.
Last question for me is, where do you see network marketing as an industry developing? What companies will survive? Because we see this post-COVID era. So what is your take on that? And also, can you speak about the importance of companies introducing new products? Because your company introduced this crazy new product and everyone is now wanna be on it, and you have people coming back. So can you speak about that?
Yeah, I think you really have to have new products and new innovations that are up and relevant with what's going on in the world. And what's going on in the world is constantly changing. And so you have to have a company that's going to be consistently bringing out the newest, best product innovations to stay relevant. We have a lot of old companies that don't do that, and they're not doing very well. And then we have, sadly, a large amount of companies that are going to an affiliate program only, which actually makes me sick in the industry, because the only reason why those companies made it to where they were was because of their reps that built it. And then they're taking the reps' income out of there, and they're thinking that their customers are going to stay. I completely disagree with that. I think they're going to lose those customers, because half the time why we buy something from someone is because of the relationship. It's because we have a contact and they're talking about it with their belief. And that's why you purchase it. When you see an actress or someone that you love talking about something, and if you love that person, you're most likely going to buy it. And that's why they need their reps. And so I do think that our industry is in a shifting type moment. to a different time. But I do think that there will be many companies like ours that have this foundation where they believe in the rep and they will stay. They will stay and they will do well. And the companies that I think are legacy companies that are out there are the companies that have a very wide product base. And I learned years ago, if you only have a couple of products and you've asked everybody if they wanted a couple of those products and they say no, you're out of business, right? But if you have a huge wide base of products where you have something for everybody, then you will always have somebody to talk to about the products. There's endless stream of people that need to hear about one of these products from this whole wide base of products. So I think the companies that have a wide base of products with really, really good formulation with it, great science behind it, and that bring out new innovations every single year, I think they're going to have the most success.
So lastly, what is your message for someone who just started and is struggling? Things are not going well.
Yeah. Well, I say stick with it. It's gonna be a different success comes at different times for every different person. We all have different personalities. Don't give up on your dream. If you got in it to make an extra $500, $200 a month or extra $5,000 a month, you have to remember why you started and keep going until you get there. And don't give up on yourself. Seek a coach, find someone that can help you, that can help lift you up during the hard times. Make sure that you're doing all the educating yourself that you possibly can. Keep that inspiration coming within you. Don't listen to people that talk bad about it or don't support you. Just have to learn to find your right circle of influence that will support you on this journey and keep going. Just keep going. You never know what's around the corner. And sometimes it takes one person to change your whole career. I've had people that have joined our team that were maybe down a couple levels. I didn't even know them when they came on. And then overnight, they become this massive builder that bring on hundreds of thousands of people on your team, and it can change everything for you. You just don't know. It could be just that one person. So keep talking to people and keep believing in why you started.
Amazing.
This was awesome.
Amazing, Lisa. Your energy is just poisonous.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
No, awesome. Like just having you talk about all this and the energy that you have for everything, it's just great to hear.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for being our guest. And
You're so welcome. Thank you, guys. I love it. I love this industry. No one could ever talk me out of this industry. And that's what's so funny is because so many people are so hard on it. But when you see the lives that have changed, I mean, I'm just one little tiny person. If you see the lives that it has literally changed the trajectory of their entire family's life. And it's done that for us. I mean, it's done that for us. We didn't know when I got in and started selling jewelry that it would be my whole career, and the lives that I've been able to help and change, and then that the people that I got to help. I mean, I just don't know how anybody could be negative about an incredible industry that can change so many lives. I just love it, and no one could ever talk me out of it.
Last thing, where people can find you, Lisa?
Oh gosh. Well, you can find me at Successful with Lisa on Instagram. And I guess that's probably the easiest place. So Successful with Lisa spelled all the way out. So.
We'll put that in the show notes for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being our guest, Lisa, and we are looking forward to having you again.
Okay, thank you so much. I look forward to having you on my podcast too.
For sure.
Sure.
Yeah.